800 years before the plague's epidemic known as the Black Death killed as many as 20 million people in Western Europe, a similar scourge decimated the population of the Byzantine Empire. The Justinian plague, named for Emperor Justinian I, who himself was struck with the disease but survived, broke out between AD 541 and 544.
Many of the immigrants to America in colonial days were capitalists themselves, in a small or a large way, and paid their passage. What proportion of the colonists were able to finance their voyage across the sea is a matter of pure conjecture. Undoubtedly a very considerable number could do so.
The Soviet Republic was renamed the Republic of Kazakhstan on December 10, 1991, which declared its independence 6 days later, on December 16, 1991. The Soviet Union was disbanded on December 26, 1991 by the Soviet of Nationalities. The Republic of Kazakhstan, the legal successor to the Kazakh SSR, was admitted to the United Nations on March 2, 1992.
Although movie critics have never considered George Lucas an auteur, for untold millions of Star Wars fans he remains an unrivaled fount of entertainment. Peter Jackson, director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, has said that Mr. Lucas is the Thomas Edison of the modern film industry.
Chinese rulers have succumbed to the temptation to pay off spiraling debt simply by printing money. Inflationary scourges ravaged dynasty after dynasty, with both the Mongols and Mao Zedong's communists seizing power in a country eviscerated by depreciated paper.
Aloud Libby developed the method in the late 1940s and soon became a standard tool for archaeologists. Libby received the Nobel Prize for his work in 1960. The radiocarbon dating method is based on the fact that radiocarbon is constantly being created in the atmosphere.
The Bayeux Tapestry is among the most famous examples of embroidery. The art probably antedates that of weaving. Needlework is mentioned in the Vedas and Exodus in the Bible. In ancient Egypt, gold was used for the decorative stitches, which often covered the entire garment.
Persian tents, usually circular, were early noted for rich hangings and rugs. Army tents developed by ancient people include the small, skin-covered tents of the Greeks and the Roman tents of canvas supported by two upright poles and a ridge pole.
Wellington is at the southwestern tip of the North Island on Cook Strait, separating the North and South Islands. On a clear day, the snow-capped Kaikoura Ranges are visible to the south across the strait. With a latitude of 41 degrees south, Wellington is the southernmost capital city in the world.
Our research aimed to explore how moving home at a young age affected the development of preschool children. There are many different reasons why families choose to move home, some of which are positive and some less so. It illustrates the strengths and weaknesses of the learners who populate the nation's schools, and it offers a window into the development of learning.
Child language brokers are children or young people who translate or interpret on behalf of family members or others who do not speak the local language. When settling into a new country, children often learn the local language more rapidly than their parents and other adults.
Road accidents have become a key reason for about 1/5 of the total deaths in the USA. This trend indicates that carelessness and reckless driving is killing many people. Hence, following lane, traffic and safety rules are must to stay alive on the road.
Transhumanism is an international philosophical movement that advocates for transforming the human condition by developing and making widely available advanced technologies to greatly enhance human intellect and physiology. It emerges as a fad in recent times. Transhumanists believe that we can overcome our limitations as human beings and evolve to something greater.
Counterfeit money means imitating the currencies produced without the legal sanction of the state or government. Counterfeiting of the currencies has become a threat to many of the countries and their economies. As a result, nations are declaring demonetization and introducing a new currency to keep counterfeiting at bay.
A guy called Mark used to perform interesting social experiments. One of them involved unethically taking umbrellas from restaurants. Usually, on any rainy day, he walks into the restaurant and says that he had forgotten his umbrella the previous day. Without any further ado, the staff takes him to the collection of forgotten umbrellas. He happily picks one and leaves. The word hacker has always been associated with breaking into systems and gaining access in an unethical fashion. The actions done by hackers have always been condemned in most of the cases. But the pioneers in computer science have, however, termed the people who get a kick out of breaking into the system and overriding them as crackers but not hackers.
Advanced showcasing is an umbrella term for the greater part of your internet advertising endeavors. Organizations use advanced channels, for example, Google seeks web-based social networking, email, and their sites to associate with their present and forthcoming customers. The truth is, individuals invest twice as much energy online as they used to 12 years prior.
Intuition, or sixth sense, is our capacity to see the inconspicuous measurement or concealed universe of blessed messengers, apparitions, heaven, swarga, and so on. It likewise incorporates our capacity to comprehend the unobtrusive circumstances and end results relationship behind numerous occasions, which is outside the ability to grasp the judgment. Extrasensory observation, ESP, perceptiveness, feeling, and instinct are synonymous with intuition or inconspicuous recognition capacity.
Disintegration control endeavors have dependably been of outrageous significance. Submerged weirs divert the most harming streams, and the highest point of the falls have additionally been fortified. In June 1969, the Niagara River was redirected far from the American Falls for a while through the development of an impermanent shaken earth dam. This is an exceptionally positive and glad Mitsuri celebration, which commends the begin of spring, and the sensitive magnificence of the falling cherry blooms from the sakura tree. It is otherwise called the bloom watching the celebration. The cherry blooms are viewed as an image of life's momentary nature, and that magnificence is just brief. Families and companions accumulate under the cherry trees, have picnics, and gatherings. It can, nonetheless, be checked tentatively that no surface is impeccably smooth and that at whatever point there is a propensity for two bodies in contact to move in respect to each other or to compel, known as the constraint of rubbing, has a tendency to keep the relative movement. The numerical examination of compelling of rubbing relies upon specific presumptions which are typified in the alleged laws.
The question is asked, how is understanding possible? The technique for thinking of this approach is that, while Scripture is something past a standard substance, Scripture is in the principal examination content which individuals endeavor to appreciate. In this sense, the benchmarks of seeing any substance applied to the Bible, additionally paying little regard to whatever other additional, especially philosophical gauges are considered.
Alexander sought after Bessus eastbound until he was gotten and slaughtered. At that point, wishing to join the most easterly parts of the Persian Empire into his own, he battled in Focal Asia. It was rough, ice-chomped crusade, which raised pressures inside his particular armed force and, at last, would prompt Alexander slaughtering two of his dearest companions.
Starfish have hard, calcified skin, which shields them from most predators, and many wear striking hues that cover them or frighten away potential assailants. Simply marine creatures, there are no freshwater ocean stars, and just a couple live in saline water. Past their particular shape, ocean stars are celebrated for their capacity to recover appendages and at times, whole bodies.
Botanists intrigued by biology, think about the cooperation of plants with different living beings and the earth. Other field botanists hunt to discover new species or do investigations to find how plants develop under various conditions. A few botanists concentrate on the structure of plants. They may work in the field, focusing on the example of the entire